Have you ever been stuck in the middle of nowhere with a bike that won't start? Or find out that your chain is loose after you hit the trails? Let's make sure that doesn't happen to you like it almost did to us. What's going on, adventure nerds? Now, whether you're out for a quick rip or a multi-day adventure, doing a solid pre-trip inspection can be the difference between having an epic time or starring in your own survival documentary. Now, there's an easy acronym to remember here. T-CLOCS. Tires, controls, lights, oil, chassis, and stand. But let's be real here. I'm going to go a little bit deeper to make sure that you're not pushing your bike out of Bigfoot's backyard, or even worse, becoming his dinner plans. I heard he likes ADV riders. Now, if you've had multiple concussions like I have, you tend to forget the little things, like wishing your wife a happy birthday. Love you, babe. So to help me remember the important things, like my bike not exploding mid-ride, I put together this checklist, which you can download for free in the description below. Now, if you like this content, please consider subscribing. I'm trying to grow the channel. And let's be honest, after missing her birthday, I could use all the support I can get. Now we're gonna kick things off with the most important part about a bike, wheels and tires, because it's way better to roll away than it is to walk home. Now, the first thing we're gonna do is check tire pressures. And I don't mean the old school way of kicking the tire. Yup, she's good, she's ready to go. Properly checking tire pressures is surprisingly still overlooked. Next, we're gonna have a quick visual of the tread, looking for wear, cracks, bulges, and properly seated beads. While we have the wheel up, we're gonna do a quick spin and watch for straightness. Now we're gonna quickly check the bearings. We're gonna grab at the 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock position and pull in and out. There should be no play here. Ask me how I know this. And we'll check out his spokes. Just grab a wrench from your toolkit. Check out my video if you need ideas for yours. Go around listening to a sound. This sound is good. This sound, not so good. The second most important part about your bike is your brakes. So let's not overlook these. You're gonna wanna roll your bike just a little bit and apply the brakes individually to make sure it stops. Have a quick visual of the pads, looking for any wear or uneven wear side to side. Now take a little peek at your rotors, feeling for any grooves here, looking for any wear. Next up, we have controls. Take a look at your holy shit handlebars. Make sure that they're not bent. And yes, I have bent my handlebars. Take a look at the angle of the bars to make sure they fit your riding needs. Grab the throttle and make sure it goes rap rap when you want it to go rap rap. Focus on the return of your throttle is snappy, just like that pet turtle you had in second grade. Have a squeeze of your levers to make sure things are feeling oh so smooth. If you have cables, don't be afraid to lubricate them. Take a look at your foot pegs, because there's nothing worse than one of those breaking off and now it feels like you're riding bareback. Next up, we're gonna take a look at the shifter. Make sure the fasteners are tightened, the linkage isn't gonna pop off, and you got good movement up and down. Then lastly, grab those mirrors, make sure they're on there tight, and look at them and say, I'm in control, I'm in control, I'm in control. And now we're on to lights and electrics. Now, hopefully your battery is a little more accessible than mine. Mine is buried in there. Now make sure your connections are nice and tight and nice and clean. You don't want any corrosion on. And if you have a voltmeter, hook it up to your battery, crank the engine, and see what it drops down to. It should be no more than 9.6 volts. Now let's go flashing, people. I'm talking headlights, you sicko. You get your mind out of the gutter. You get out. Now we're gonna make sure your headlight works, your high beam works, and any accessories like fog lights if you have them. While we're checking out lights, let's step on the brake individually and make sure that the lights are working. And make sure your blinky blinks blink. But you can't say that 5 times fast. And now we're gonna give your horn a little toot toot. Now we're gonna make sure your fluids are topped up, because your bike, it gets thirsty too. Remember to always check on level ground. Check your engine oil and make sure condition looks like liquid gold. Visually inspect for leaks and pay close attention to your drain bolts and your oil filter. Now your brake fluid has 2 reservoirs, one for the front brakes and one for the rear. Take a peek at the condition and the level. Now your coolant will have an overflow bottle. It's always good to make sure that that's topped up. Now when checking the level of your coolant, it is crucial that you check it when it's extremely hot. No, I'm just kidding. Please don't do that, please. Now, it's always a good idea to take a look at your air filter or air filters. Now, for me, it's a bit of a chore to get into this beast. So believe me when I say my air filters, they're good to go. And lastly, we've got our go-go juice. I'm sure everyone's got years of experience making sure that they don't run out. Just in case, take a look around in your engine. Look for any signs of oil, fuel, coolant, any signs of leaks coming around there. Now we're gonna give your suspension a once-over, because hitting a pothole shouldn't make you feel like getting a body slam by Stone Cold Steve Austin. Sudden and brutal, just like most of my jokes. Now we're gonna raise the rear wheel again and check for play in the swing arm by pushing and pulling on the tire. There should be no movement at all. Have a look at the sprockets, looking for any worn teeth and making sure the fasteners are properly secured. Next up, we're gonna take a look at the chain, looking to see if it needs to be cleaned and lubed. Now for the front suspension, we're gonna apply the front brake, push down on the front forks to get them to dip. We're gonna be listening for any squeaks, sounds, clunks, rattles, bangs, booms, anything you may hear that's abnormal. Now grab that rear end and do the same thing. Listen for any abnormal noises. And lastly, we'll check that flamingo leg sticking out of the side, better known as your kickstand, to make sure it actually holds up your 500-pound beast instead of deciding to have a nap the moment you look away. Double check to make sure the spring is still springy and can return the stand back quickly. While you're here, you can double check to make sure that your safety switch is working. And that's it, guys. 5 to 10 minutes max can save you hours of frustration. Let me know in the comments below what your worst breakdown or problem you've had on a ride is. That have been fixed if you did a pre-ride inspection. Oh, I almost forgot the most important thing. Now, come here. Now, the most important thing for a pre-ride inspection